Hello everyone, welcome to Conquer Learning. I am Lakshmi Kushwaha. I am back with the next part of your theories of wages. So in part 1 we have studied 5 important theories of wages. So in this video we are going to continue the rest of them. So in last video we completed subsistence theory, wage fund theory, residual claimant, surplus value theory and power parity theory. Now today we would be moving to next important 6 theories of the wages starting from marginal productivity theory. Now, first is your marginal productivity theory. Before we understand this theory, marginal productivity, understanding this marginal productivity is very important. Now, let's say there is one labor. He works for around 8 hours and he gives me around 10 products. How many products? He gives me 10 products. Now, the same employee or the same labor, if I increase his hours 9 hours, he will give me 11 products. Or rather, I would say the same employee, instead of giving him extra hour, I am increasing the incentive. I am saying him that if you perform good, would give you the incentive. Or let's say incentives are added, or anything, any kind of input has been added. It may be the incentive, it can be the hours of work, or if I give him the better quality raw material. So let's say I have given him better quality of raw material. So this is the another input. So with the better quality raw of material, working for 8 hours, let's not consider this. For one raw material with the P1, he is giving me 10 products. Raw material with the P2, he is giving me around 12 products. With raw material P3, he is giving me 8 hours he is working and he is giving me again and around, you can say, 14 products. So 12 minus 10, how many? 2. What was the difference when I changed any input, what was the extra that was made by this particular employee? That was only 2 product. So if I have changed the raw material, the extra one which was created, that is called as the marginal productivity. Means what? इस पर्सन की मार्जिनल प्रोडक्टिविटी क्या है? 2 है. उसने उसकी मार्जिनल प्रोडक्टिविटी क्या है? 2 है. हियर ऑल्सो लेट्स सी, P3 इज द रॉ मटेरियल. यहां पे earlier he was making 12, now he is making 14. So the marginal productivity, if I compare this and this, okay, so here it is 2, again 2. Now if we compare only product 1 or raw material P3, let's not consider P2, only P3. So 10 and 4. Here his MP is 4. So when I am giving him better quality raw material of P3 format, he can give me a marginal product of 4. Whereas if I give him the product of P2 or raw material of P2 quality, the marginal productivity is 2. Extra is 2. This is about the single person. Now let's say I talk about the two. There was one person. He worked for 8 hours and he gave me 10 product. Then came two people. Extra labor came. They were working and they were giving me 15 products. Then came again 3 people. They were working together and they are now giving me 20 products, or let me take it as 21 products. So what was the extra these two people are making? Extra. Not two people are making 15 together, but from this person to this, it was only 5. So this MP, the marginal product, the margin here, by hiring one extra employee, उस एम्प्लॉयर को मार्जिन क्या मिल रहा है? 5 प्रोडक्ट का. यहां 3 एम्प्लॉयज को हायर करने से, आफ्टर एम्प्लॉइंग 3 प्रोडक्ट्स or 3 employees, sorry, not product, after hiring 3 laborers, let's take it as round figure as 20, how much margin he is getting? 5. So even if the 2 people are there, they are giving 15. Even if the 3 people are there, they are making even 20, the greater number. But what about marginal product? the productivity margin, they are getting only 5. Here also 5, here also 5. So the difference could be higher, but margin, when we go in market and suppose you have went into the market, आप जाते हो अपने पुराने जहां से आप यूजुअली अपना सामान खरीदते हो, ग्रोसरी खरीदते हो, आप उनसे कहते हो कि क्या गुप्ता साहब हम आपसे ही XYZ वॉट एवर नेम कि हम आपसे हर बार लेते हैं, इस बार थोड़ा आप रेट डाउन कर दो. सो यू ऑलवेज और मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम यू हैव हर्ड दैट मार्जिन नहीं है सर. सो व्हाट इज दैट मार्जिन? This is what it is called as the margin. So when we say marginal productivity, it means the extra resource or extra production an employee is able to get or give. So when I say marginal productivity or when I say marginal product, my marginal productivity is something when I am able to generate extra production or a extra product after the addition of some input. ठीक है, that is your marginal productivity. Now in common sense, in the sense, now suppose this is 5, he is getting increase. Now let's say there are now 4 employees working. The 4 employees are working, their cost of production, everything, now they are giving around only 20 products. They both are also giving, they all 4 are giving 20 products. So here marginal productivity is what? 0. So here the margin is 0. At this point of the time when the marginal productivity becomes 0, means what? उसके लिए revenue यहाँ पे 0 हो गया है, अब उसका कोई margin नहीं मिल रहा है. At this point of the time, the employer will stop hiring extra person because he is not getting any margin here. He is not earning any revenue extra here. So he would just stop hiring. This is nothing but the marginal productivity theory. The marginal productivity theory given by Phillips Henry Wickseed and John Bates. In this theory, the wages are determined by supply and demand of the labor. Supply and demand of the labor. So what is the supply available and what is the demand for the product in the market? It determines the wages. And every employer will keep on hiring the labor or will keep on giving the wages to the labor until the point when his marginal physical product is equal to marginal cost. This position, जब तक उसका जो cost वो उसके ऊपर है, this point of the time he would stop hiring. ये क्या है? Marginal physical product. जो मैंने आपको यहाँ पे समझाया, हर एक एम्प्लॉय का एक मार्जिनल फिजिकल प्रोडक्ट होता है. सो एम्प्लॉयर वो तब तक ही हायर करेगा ना जब तक उसको कुछ अर्निंग हो रही है. द मोमेंट उसका कॉस्ट, यहाँ पे जो वो कॉस्ट लगा रहा है और यहाँ पे जो मार्जिन हो रहा है वो इक्वल हो जाएगा, व्हाई वुड ही हायर? He won't give them wages. So that is the marginal productivity theory. So marginal productivity theory of the wages is an extension of marginal productivity theory of distribution. Distribution is related to the product. Right? Here we talk about, मैंने यहाँ पे जो example दिया ये वो product से दिया और यहाँ पे जो example दिया ये labor के term में दिया. So this is your marginal productivity theory and this is marginal productivity of distribution. Wage for labor should be equal to the value of marginal product. Wages for the labor should be equal to the value of marginal product under the conditions of perfect competition. Now what happened? Perfect competition is an competition where it is considered to be that every product is homogeneous. What is every labor? Let's see, एक perfect market है. परफेक्ट मार्केट के अंदर क्या होता है? सारे के सारे लेबर्स को, हम लेबर की टर्म में बात करेंगे, ऑल द लेबर्स आर होमोजेनियस इन नेचर. व्हाट आर दे? दे आर होमोजेनियस इन नेचर. So every person is having equal skills, equal abilities, equal talent. So every person would be hired at same salary, right? Since everyone is having equal skills, equal abilities, equal knowledge, so everyone would be hired at the same salary. So in the perfect market, it is believed that this is called as the supply curve. This is called as the demand curve. Demand is the downward sloping, supply is the upward sloping. So why demand is downward sloping? Ye wages. This is the wages. This is the number of the employees. As the wages goes on increasing, this is nothing but the cost to the company. Wages is what? He is giving the wages to the employer. It means his cost. So as the wages increases, the demand for the labor decreases. That's why it's downward sloping. And as the wages increases, the supply of labor increases. So labor would be more available. मुझे ज़्यादा wages, I'm getting more wages, more labor would be available. So in the perfect market, when these two curves intersect with each other at the point of equilibrium, this is the point where you get a right wages. So these are the wages at which every employee would be available to work. So this is the market wages where the labor would be available. So wage of the labor should be equal to marginal product. Under the perfect market, in this perfect market, if you want to earn the profit, your marginal cost has to be equal to marginal revenue, or it can be also called as marginal product. Clear? जो आपका खर्चा है, that is your wages, has to be equal to marginal product, means revenue, whatever revenue they are giving. So till the point this is equal, it is easy. It's easy for the employer to hire. After this, he won't hire. So marginal concept says that employer continues to employ the labor as long as value addition by the marginal worker is more than the cost. So till the point here, he was having 5, extra was added, he was hiring. The moment he has got zero marginal value, he will stop. So result is that the employer has a larger share in the profit as has not to pay the non-marginal worker. So he don't have to pay to the non-marginal worker. He has to pay only to those worker, and he would hire only those worker who can give him marginal productivity. Employer will stop employing the additional unit of the labor when the MPP, marginal physical product, that is MP, you can call it as MP also, when it talks about marginal product or marginal physical product, every single employee is equal to marginal cost. Clear? So this is the marginal productivity theory, which says that the wages in the market are decided by the demand and the supply of the labor in the market. Now this wages, or the employer would continue to supply the wages till the value of the wage of labor is equal to the marginal product. He would stop employing additional unit for the labor when it is MPP is equal to MC. So this is your marginal productivity theory. Next comes your bargaining theory. You know collective bargaining? This is exactly that. So collective bargaining theory says that the wages between the employees, or the wages for the employees, are decided by the collective bargaining process between the employee and employer, between the trade union and between the management. If the trade union is stronger, if the trade union is more dominating, the wages would be good. If the management is dominating, the management would provide the wages according to it. So if it is having, if the trade unions are having great bargaining strength, the great number of the people would, the good wages would be given to the employees. If it is not having good bargaining strength, the management will go according to it. So John Davidson developed this theory. According to this theory, wage level is determined by bargaining power of the employer and their association versus employees and their trade unions. It provides a very reason for the existence of unions. So collective bargaining, because see, when a single employee goes to the employer that I don't want this wages, I want 10,000 rupees. You are giving me 7,000. I don't want this 7,000. That's not good. Employer would say, leave the company. But when number of the individuals as an trade union with great collective bargaining power, dominating power, they approach the employer, it would be very difficult for him to say no, go away. So this is the actual reason for the existence of the trade union. Simply put, that bargaining strength of the union is much greater than that of the individuals. The bargaining theory can explain wage rates in the short run situations, such as existence of certain wage differential. Over the long run, it has failed to explain the changes that has observed in the average level of the wages. But this collective bargaining is true for the short run period, not for the long runs. Every time there won't be a trade union presence, and over in India, trade unions are having less dominance as compared to any other country. So this is your bargaining theory. Next comes your compensation theory, behavior theory. Now this behavior theory says that, or this compensation theory says that An employee, an employee who is getting a good salary, his behavior would be what? Motivated. Definitely, he would want to be with the current organization where he is getting good compensation. And it is believed that money or the wages are the best motivator for any of the employee or any of the labor. So, if you want to motivate your employee, you want to keep his behavior motivated or behavior towards the company, it's very important to give them good wages. But what if the employee is not happy with the wages? What he do? He is dissatisfied with the wages. He would start looking for another job. His attractiveness for the another job increases. He would look for the better job opportunities and he would leave the organization. So his behavior would be something where he is looking for the higher money or higher wages. So, in order to avoid such behavior and in order to improve his performance, improve his behavior towards or motivated towards the organization, it's very important to have good compensation structure, good compensation, you can say policies, wages, and so on. So, if you keep your employees motivated, if you provide them right wages, their behavior would be motivated. Fine. So, that is the compensation theory. The wages are the best motivators for the workers. Pay affects the satisfaction of employee and this has a behavioral implications. When an employee is dissatisfied with the wages, their desire for the money increases and attractiveness for the job decreases. As a result, of a desire for more money, they are more adapt to pursue a behavior which are likely to raise money pay, such as improving performance, joining unions, looking for better job. So if they are not satisfied, they would look to join the trade union, they would go for better company, better opportunity, improving their performance so that they can get better jobs. Norms, conditions, customs, goodwill, and social pressure influence the wage structure. So these all are the factors which influence how your wage structure would be. The wage must satisfy a number of the needs as identified. So everyone have studied the Maslow's pyramid for the need, Herzberg's two-factor theory, and this all needs need to be satisfied through the wages. Examples of the needs are psychological, security, food, and shelter. Sorry. Let's move to the next, expectancy theory. We know Vroom has given an expectancy theory. Vroom has given that every employee or every individual has got certain desires or certain need for certain outcome, right? So if we find something very attractive, so if he is finding a result or if he is finding the wages attractive or satisfactory, he would put the efforts for it, he would perform and he would try to achieve it. So expectancy theory says that your wages should be attractive in such a way that they keep on repeating their behavior of good performances. You have to maintain your wages that employee desire for it. Employer want that wages. If you are able to bring those wages as their expectancy, you would be able to hold them. So Vroom's expectancy theory is based on the assumption that the reward earning behavior is likely to be repeated. So if you are rewarding them for their behavior, it is repeated. And an employee would do the same thing again for which he has been acknowledged once. The employee is motivated to do particular thing for which he is sure he is expected that performance will be followed by the definite reward or outcome. So you have to create your wages in such a way that they are motivated enough to get those wages. So that is your expectancy theory. Next is your equity theory. Equity theory says that when an employee or an individual gets a job or when he is looking forward for the job or he is working in any of the organization, he tries to justify himself. He tried to equalify or he tried to balance him in the three types of equity. He says, or an individual, equity theory says that when the wages or the remuneration are provided to the employee, it should satisfy three types of equity. What are those equity? Internal equity, external equity, individual equity. So when an individual gets, suppose he is at the position of HR executive and he is getting some salary. So internal equity says that within the organization, within the different hierarchy, his salary should be fair enough. So if there is a senior HR, there is an HR, there is a manager, there is a senior manager and so on, his salary should be in parity with this hierarchy and in parity with another HR working there. So this is the first internal equity within the organization. External equity, he is an HR within the organization and the same competitor, if there are any other company with the same profile, so what the salary this company is giving. So this is an external equity. And individual equity says that employee is an MBA, or he is possessing certain qualification, or he is having some experience. So as per his experience, as per his qualification, is he given a fair wages? So this three equity need to be provided when you are giving the remuneration. A uniformity should be there, a fair equity has to be maintained. So according to this theory, there should be an equity or uniformity in the pay structure of the employee's remuneration. If the employee feel he is not being paid fairly for the amount of the work he does in a day, will result in lower productivity, increased turnover and high absenteeism. Those who are not satisfied, obviously they would leave the organization. The remuneration system should comply with the three types of equity. Internal, the employee perceive fairness in different pay for different job based on the nature of work involved. That is, he must feel that pay differentials among the jobs are fair. So senior, junior, if they are having different jobs, the differential has to be fair enough. The employee should feel the fairness in what they being paid is in line with what the other players in the same industry are paying to their employees for the same kind. So this external. Individual equity, the employee perceive the pay differential among the individual who are performing same kind of job within the same organization. So same, he is an HR executive, basis of his qualification with the another HR executive having the same qualification. Usually an individual with more experience get the higher remuneration as compared to fresher, irrespective of the nature of his job. So what kind of experience and the qualification he is holding. So that was your equity theory. Last one is your agency theory. Most of the time the question is asked from this. This theory says that employee and employer are these two stakeholders of the company, and remuneration is paid to the employee as an agency cost. So these both are what? They both are stakeholder, employer and employee, and remuneration are paid to the employee as their agency cost. The employer will try to increase or his profit, and employee would try to increase his agency cost. So both of them would try to what? They will try to increase their share. This employer would try to reduce the cost, and he would try to increase his agency money or remuneration. So the remuneration, this theory says that the remuneration, when they are in this dispute, both of them are looking forward for the good. So when they are into this situation, the remuneration should be in such a way that the interest of both the parties is satisfied. This is what the agency theory is. So agency theory says that employee and employer are the stakeholders, and the remuneration is paid to the employer as an agency cost. So if you want to maintain a good relationship, the remuneration should be paid in such a way that the interest of both the parties are satisfied or aligned. Clear? So these are the 11 theories we completed into the two parts. I hope you liked it. If you have any questions, you can ask me in the comment section. If you liked the video, subscribe, share with others so that others also come to know about this particular topic. They come to know about this channel. So thank you so much. Give your feedback, like and do share, subscribe, and we will be meeting in our next video. Thank you.